Hey y'all, it's June the 4th, 2015, and it's very dark outside. I apologize about that. I know you can't see my face very good, and it's a little bit creepy. I'm sorry about that, but I had to make a video while it's still fresh on my mind. Uh, I've been viewing, uh, let's say, MGTOW videos for a while now. Say maybe the bulk of a year. Um, and I find a lot of them pretty interesting. I think a lot of these guys are making very good points, and um, I've just become more and more interested in it. Uh, I guess subconsciously, even kind of started seeking it out subconsciously, like on the YouTube and things, where it just kept popping up, and I've seen a lot of different voices in this movement. I would like to announce that I too am part of this movement, this MGTOW movement, and I was thinking about it, and I think I play a pretty intricate role uh, in the bridge of the MGTOW movement, say to Christianity, a very weird, unique role, in that I might be the only MGTOW, officially public MGTOW, who actually literally is married. I'm still married. That's the thing about it. And you'll never hear me deny, because uh, through Christian doctrine and belief, I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but marriage, in my view, when you do it correctly, it can't be broken. It won't be broken. In fact, Jesus said this in the Bible. He said, "With that which I bring together," and that's supposed to be marriage, that which I can bring together, no human can take apart. You're not coming apart. It's not going to come apart. A lot of people running out here getting divorces and all sorts of things, running around getting married, getting divorces. Like that's just, a phase that we're going through. But the thing is, they don't realize all these divorces are fraudulent. You actually are just pretending that you're divorced. You actually did get married. You're actually still uh, half of a flesh to that person. It's just now that you're cursing yourself because you're divorced, probably got another marriage and stuff. And you're gonna keep cursing yourself. And you're gonna wonder where all these curses are coming from. So, like I said, I play a pretty integral. I don't think anyone else can claim to be a married man who is also MGTOW. But I also got to throw this out here. Probably one of the most famous MGTOWs in the world is, and in all the world's history, would be Jesus Christ. Would it not? Wouldn't he be the first one, really, when you think about it? And I bring that up to bring this up. I was looking, through my YouTube channel, and I like to look at which videos are getting the views, which videos are not getting the views. Of course, buzzwords are very good. And what I noticed was with my videos, the ones that really pertain to what a real man would be offended to, say like Hillary Clinton, that's offensive to a real man. That gets views. Transabled people, that's kind of offensive. To a real man, can't understand that really. And that gets views, and things like that will get views. And that's cool. I'm pretty grateful for that. I also noticed that, videos where I mention Jesus or Jesus might be in the title, that don't get no views. Political tearing downs, they don't really get that many views. Don't worry, because I'm going to keep doing them. In fact, that's probably my favorite video to make. It's about Jesus, the Word of God, and tearing down politicians because they're rat bastards. So I'm going to continue to do that. But I just wanted to make the connection between the MGTOW movement, which um, it has some definition to it. It has a lot of different demographics in it, but for the most part, it's not believing in a traditionalist route of marriage. So this is how Christians, I guess the true Christians and the MGTOW movement kind of separate because true Christians kind of see it as it needing to be traditional, and it absolutely does because that's a working formula. When you deviate from that, you become a deviant by definition, and then you don't realize it, but curses come after that, and people who associate you end up getting cursed with diseases and all sorts of weird things. And I want to make sure that there's a definite that you understand that there's a connection between true Christianity and the MGTOW system, although they seem to contradict themselves a little bit. I also want to remind you that I forget what verse exactly. I believe it's in Matthew, book of Matthew, where Jesus he does shout out MGTOWs. He really did. I mean, he said, marriage, it's a man and a woman coming together. He did say that specifically. You know what I'm saying? But then he also said, there's some people that, they just won't never get married and stuff. And that's all right. They just happen to not be capable of it. And he shouted them out way back then. And in my opinion, this is the bulk of the problem. When you consider America as a country, for the most part, yeah, it had a lot of different people in it, and it's a melting pot or whatever. For the most part, though, 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, it was a Christian man and a Christian woman, and they would make babies and, try to survive. And they did survive pretty well. And they didn't have too many complications. Now, this is what I have. Like, this would be the chicken and the egg, the cause and effect factor. Once women somehow got bamboozled away from the Christian traditional sense of marriage, they got bamboozled out of it through weird liberal feminism movements, pretty much funded by the Rockefellers and their cliques. Once they got tricked out of it, this is when men, people who uh, were traditionally Christian men, they started realizing, well, these women are messing up. They seek in their heart ever since they were little to find the traditional Christian marriage. They never found it because you can't really find a girl out there who's who's really trying to live that life. It is a way that you have to dedicate yourself. That most women aren't ready to dedicate themselves in that light. To put it specific, like simply, just to put it in a simple way, the Christian marriage, the way it goes, it is pretty straightforward. The man, I know you might not want to hear this, is the head of the household. He makes all the decisions, financially, politically, socially. He's the voice out there. He's the guy who works, brings in that money. Uh, that's who he is, and who the women, who the woman is in a Christian marriage. I know you're not gonna want to hear this. Is a supporter of that man. She believes wholeheartedly in this man. She will go to uh, her dying days with this man, serving him. And the reason for this is because she's seen in this man something to believe in. She knows that he will lead her exactly where she needs to be, and he will do it safely. She knows this and believes this in her heart because she believes in what Jesus was saying, and therefore they begin and they just basically live happily ever after, living a Christian marriage. Now this isn't really possible anymore because You're not hardly gonna find a woman or a little girl around here who wants to do this, who's willing to do this. And so I think that's why you saw a big boom in the MGTOW movement and how it's a movement that's really gaining steam because of the fact that you can't find Christian girls. You can find girls that say that they might be Christian, but they don't really. I mean, they follow some of the doctrine, but they don't want to be married like that. They want to switch up the roles. Some thing is, you can't switch up the roles. You should not switch up the roles because that's when you're going to start seeing deviation. That's when ultimately you're going to see the Bruce Jenners and the weirdest weirdos. It all stems from that. You have to be traditionalist, and that's simply not possible these days. That's why I think Jesus. That's why he endorsed MGTOW way back then. I'm pretty sure he's endorsing it right now. But we definitely need to make the connection from MGTOW and Jesus. The reason MGTOW, I think, is gaining as much steam as it is, believe it or not, is through the hand of Jesus Christ. That's who's really giving it steam. And another way in which these movements are similar is the fact when you think about Jesus Christ will never die. Never kill him off of the earth. The reason for this is true believers in Jesus Christ exist all over the earth, and they're peppered in there. And you'd have to exterminate every last one of them, and it's just too hard. It's not possible. And if it was possible and you did it, then bam, you better understand that Jesus will come down and do what he has to do what he said he'd do. All right? So he has given power to the MGTOW movement, and he's also made it something like his own in the way that you'll notice about MGTOW, feminism and feminist lawyers can't really attack MGTOW because there's not really a figurehead on MGTOW. There's all sorts of different demographics that become unified within MGTOW. It doesn't matter if you're poor or rich. It doesn't matter if you're old or young or white or black or Chinese or whatever. It really doesn't matter. You can be a part of MGTOW. I'm married and I'm part of MGTOW. All right, and I challenge you to debate me on that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm on my own out here. I'm feeling it out. That's MGTOW. But like I said, I'm just finishing up. I think it's very, very important that we see the connection, that we notice the connection. I know there's a lot of MGTOW people out there that are real smart, and they're onto good things. And there's a lot of women out there who see through all this feminist, feminazi stuff, and they're giving us good things too. A lot of them don't want to live traditional lives and have traditional marriages. Completely understand it, and I think it seems as though Jesus completely understands that too, because you cannot find that traditional marriage that he was looking for. And then all sorts of people try to give you a license for marriage, and that's whack too. I never got a license to be married. It's whack. I'm married. You know why? Because I say so under God, under Jesus Christ. That's how I'm married. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no pieces of paper. Anyways, I've talked long enough. It's June the 4th, 2015.